I love Ant, but what he did last night, that ain't the move. That ain't the fighter. That ain't the dog. That ain't the competitor.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Listen to this, because we seriously need to talk about what just happened with Anthony Edwards, since he's blowing up online again after fans noticed him basically accepting the loss against the San Antonio Spurs with around 8 minutes still left in Game 6 while the team was down nearly 30. Hold up, though. 8 whole minutes is still a lot of time in the NBA, and y'all know crazier comebacks have happened before, right? So even if the coach is pretty much throwing in the towel and pulling the starters, you still expect the bench guys to come in swinging and maybe catch fire for a late run or something. But man, when you're supposed to be the leader of the squad, I don't know if waving goodbye that early was really the move people wanted to see. Yeah, shaking hands and showing respect after a series is normal, everybody gets that. But doing it before the clock even hits 0 has fans debating hard and saying Anthony Edwards could have handled the moment completely differently. And trust me, we're about to get into what Ryan Clark had to say about the whole situation. Plus, I'm giving my full take too, because this conversation is getting heated fast, so let's get right into it.
I love Ant, but what he did last night, that ain't the move. That ain't the fighter. That ain't the dog. That ain't the competitor. You don't walk over to another team's huddle with 8 minutes left in the game, down 30 plus, and hug everybody and congratulate him. And I get it, like he's an absolute superstar. He puts the ball in the bucket. He's charismatic. He's fun. He's magnetic. But that don't win you championships. Think about the other greats. Isaiah Thomas, when he was swept by Michael Jordan, that was a passing of the torch moment. They could have hugged and they could have said, hey man, best of luck. Them dudes walked out before the game was over and walked right past Mike. Now, I get it. It's about sportsmanship. And even Mike said he would have wished they could have shaken hands or whatever it was. But sportsmanship and surrender are two different things. Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite moments of his is when they lost to Detroit 4-1 in the finals. And late in that game, in the fourth quarter, Kobe Bryant is picking up full court, right? Full court on defense. He know he can't win. He know they're not coming back in this series, but he knew eventually he was going to be the leader of that team. And how are people going to look at him? How are people going to feel about the way that he competed, the way that he fought, the way that he continued to say that I'm going to do everything I can possibly do to show this team I will not quit? And quit. And the coach had quit by that point, but it was Luka first. It was Shea next, and now it's Wemby. How many of Anthony Edwards' peers are going to send him home before either he does something different or the Timberwolves have to do something different? Like, we know he's an absolute star, but what we saw last night, that ain't it. Wemby wouldn't have walked over there, because Wemby ain't got no friends. At some point, I ain't gonna have to go out there and say I ain't got no friends either. It ain't just about dunking on you. It ain't just about scoring on you. It's about killing you, killing your spirit. It's about sending you home. Those are the dudes that become legends. The rest of them, they just get real rich.
Some of the things I saw I didn't like. And what I will say is great as Ant is as a basketball player, there's still some growth for him as well. Because as a leader, I would not have walked down there and shook their hand. I would not have walked down there and shook their hand with 8 minutes left in the game. As a leader of my troops and my guys, I would not show that weakness. The game is not over. I got 8 minutes left. I still got smoke coming out of my ears because I'm so damn mad we losing. Let me calm down for those 8 minutes since I'm not in, and then after those 8 minutes, I'll go down there and I'll congratulate them and their coaching staff. But in the middle of the game, when I got guys that have sat the bench and cheered me on, no, I'm gonna sit there and cheer those guys on. I'm gonna put that energy back into those guys, and then when the game's over, I'll go over there and shake their hands. So that's just the way I handle.
See, this is exactly why people like Udonis Haslem and Ryan Clark are making such a big deal out of the situation, because they're talking about the standard a superstar leader is supposed to set for the entire organization moving forward. Listen to this. When Kobe Bryant used to pick dudes up full court even while his team was getting blown out, it wasn't just about winning that one game. It was about sending a message that the fight never stops until the final buzzer sounds. That mentality basically told everybody walking into the next season, this is how we compete over here, and if you can't match this energy, then you probably don't belong on this roster. Kobe was the type to get in your face, push teammates to the edge, and even make guys uncomfortable because he demanded maximum effort every single possession. But the difference was he never asked teammates to do something he wasn't willing to do himself, and that's why players respected him even when he was hard on them. So people online are saying they wanted to see that same relentless attitude from Anthony Edwards instead of seeing him mentally check out before the game officially ended. Now, to be fair, Ant is clearly dealing with injuries, and a lot of fans are saying the fact that he even suited up deserves credit because he put his body on the line throughout the playoffs. But hold up, once you come back and dominate the Denver Nuggets the way he did, especially after eliminating them, people stop giving you sympathy and start expecting superstar behavior every night. And let's be real, he also ran into a much deeper and more athletic San Antonio Spurs squad with defenders like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell constantly making life difficult for him on both ends. Yeah, Ant still had those explosive scoring stretches, but you could definitely see at times that he didn't have the same burst or lift attacking the rim like we're used to seeing from him. You could tell the injury was bothering him because some of those drives that normally end in violent dunks were turning into slower finishes around traffic instead. Even with all that though, girl, teams have erased 30-point deficits before, and with 8 minutes left, there was still enough time to at least make the game uncomfortable if a run started happening. We've all watched NBA teams explode for a quick 20-0 stretch out of nowhere, cut a game to single digits, and suddenly put all the pressure back on the other side. That's why people keep saying you never want your franchise leader showing surrender body language while there's still real time left on the clock and pros still battling out there. Now, as far as roster construction goes, do they still need more talent around Ant? Yeah, probably, although I do think they added some respectable pieces this season that helped them compete at a higher level overall. But listen to this. Julius Randle kind of reminded everybody in this series why the New York Knicks were comfortable moving on from him in the first place. Meanwhile, Karl Anthony Towns is out there playing some of the most meaningful basketball of his career in a Knicks jersey now that Jalen Brunson has settled into more of the offensive control. And honestly, I like what I'm seeing from that situation because the chemistry looks way more natural than people expected it to. But at the same time, I still don't believe Julius Randle can consistently be the true number 2 option on a championship-level team. I actually thought Jaden McDaniels was starting to grow into that role a little bit more, but even he struggled badly in stretches during this matchup. And another thing people are not talking about enough is how much chaos Victor Wembanyama creates defensively just by standing near the basket. Defenders have to constantly foul, shove, rotate, and stay aware of where he is because 1 second of losing focus turns into an alley-oop, a block, or an easy putback. It completely changes the way teams think defensively because you can't just play normal help-side basketball when somebody like Wemby is lurking around the paint. Then, on top of that, the Spurs throw a bunch of physical defenders at you, and if you overcommit to stopping Wemby, guys like Keldon Johnson start crashing the glass and killing you with hustle plays. And don't even get me started on Stephen Castle, because once he started knocking down threes in Game 6, the defense was basically forced into impossible decisions every possession. The second you hesitate between protecting the lob to Wemby or stepping up on Castle, he's already flying downhill to the rim trying to dunk on somebody or finish through contact. That's what makes this Spurs team scary moving forward, because they've got size, athleticism, defenders everywhere, and now they're adding even more talent with guys like Dylan Harper entering the mix too. Look, I'm just gonna say it straight up. People spent the entire season putting guys like Cooper Flagg and Khan over Dylan Harper, but honestly, I never believed either one of them was clearly better than him. Harper just didn't get the same opportunities because he was stuck in the San Antonio Spurs rotations behind De'Aaron Fox on a team actually trying to win games right now instead of handing a rookie the keys from day one. But talent-wise, listen to this. He's every bit as skilled and dangerous as those other top prospects people kept hyping up all year long. Now, obviously, I'd still say Cooper Flagg feels more like the classic face of the franchise type player overall, but girl, if I'm strictly judging pure basketball ability, Harper's game is ridiculous. At 6'6", being that ambidextrous, creating offense the way he does and finishing through contact from either side of the floor is superstar level stuff waiting to explode. Honestly, if I were running the franchise and only evaluating the actual skill set on film, I probably would have at least considered taking Dylan Harper #1 overall myself. The dude just moves like a future star. And once you look at how he performed in the postseason, you could already tell people were eventually going to wake up and realize how special he really is. No, he probably doesn't have a realistic shot at Rookie of the Year because of the situation he's in, but that still doesn't change the fact that I always believed he belonged in the same tier as those other names. Sometimes you have to stop staring only at box scores and start paying attention to opportunity, fit, roster construction, and how a player's strengths would translate in a different system. That's exactly why I knew Jalen Brunson was going to become a star even back when he was still buried in Dallas Mavericks lineups before getting his own team. You've got to study the actual player, not just the stats people throw around on social media every day. But anyway, getting back to the main conversation here, was Anthony Edwards wrong for basically checking out early in that game? I know the internet has been going crazy debating it nonstop, and honestly, I wasn't even planning to speak on it at first. But once Ryan Clark jumped into the discussion, I figured I had to give my thoughts too, because this topic clearly struck a nerve with a lot of basketball fans. So now I want to hear from y'all in the comments. Did Ant cross the line with that moment, or are people blowing this whole thing way out of proportion? And more importantly, do you think situations like this could affect how teammates and fans view him as a leader going forward, or is this really not that serious in the bigger picture? Appreciate everybody for watching, and if you rocked with the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content like this.